what the Chovos HaLevavos says, that he says, in terms of creation, the different components of creation, relatively speaking, they're endless, infinite. And each one is a wonder unto itself. But if you see it day in and day out, you're not impressed. So he says a person should not allow his continuous exposure to these things, allow it to become ordinary, to be seen as ordinary. You have to continuously see it as something, see it for what it is. He says you find the majority of the ordinary people, the common folk, and even people, many of the people of status, how do they react to experiences? They're in wonderment when they see something that they're not used to seeing. Vayeira, I think if they see an eclipse, a lunar eclipse, everybody gets excited about this. It's unbelievable, right? When the sun sets, you're not excited every night. Like clockwork, different times, sets and this, you're not amazed. Lunar, it happens once, is unbelievable. Thunder and lightning. No, that's it. That's it. So that's the Ramban that we always speak about, right? I mean, nature is no less than this, than splitting of the sea. It's the same thing. One, because it repeats itself, you expect it. So therefore, you're not in wonderment. You're not taken aback on a regular basis. Yeah, but even something, whenever, you have a certain weather condition, you have thunder or lightning. But because you don't expect it, you're affected by it. It's because he says, "Habrokim v'aromim v'azikos," right? Thunder, lightning, and thunder. Hasora. Sorrow. How do you say sorrow? Means it's blowing of the wind. Hadomelem ve'edim tmeim mitnuas hagalgalim v'sivuvam. That you have the siva galgalim, the rotation of the earth. Kashemesh yureach. The sun rising and setting. V'yiridas geshomim, u'neshivas haruach ruchos, radomel lozer. Mashu nimtze imam vroim osatodir. Something because we see it continuously, we're not amazed. Chen yisbuch sheom hayom v'galu v'sorov. Person visits the ocean. You're taken aback. You see the power of the ocean, its waves, v'rovachai sheshebo, and what's contained within the ocean. No, take your kids to an aquarium. You see the various sea creatures. You're amazed, right? Entrance fee, $80 a person. Okay, you're amazed. This must be something special, right? Otherwise, they wouldn't charge this kind of money. What?
The fish outside.
Exactly. Mountain range, not a mountain.
Is that an obligation?
Yeah, obligation, rabbinic obligation. It's a bircha shevach, like birchas hashachar. You're supposed to say it. You have to acknowledge that when you stand up in the morning, it's not something. It's because God allows you to stand up in the morning and be able to walk and various things that He does. Rocky Mountains, Swiss Alps. That's a mountain range. Something unusual.
Not bare mountain.
No.
That's a big deal.
No, you probably Mount Everest. You see Mount Everest. That's something, or something which is a special mountain that you're taken by the majesty of the mountain. Says, but they're not taken aback, the flow of the rivers or the well springs that give water continuously, day and night, unceasingly. Lo yonuchu lo yamdu, harbi bozeh. He says, therefore, my brother, it's important to reflect on everything that Hashem created. You have to reflect on what you're exposed to continuously and what you're not exposed to continuously. It's not simple, right? Because something that you're exposed continuously becomes ordinary. It's not special. You know, a person, even though it's rooted in a different thing. A person receives a bonus, $100,000 bonus. Never received such bonus there. He's thankful to his employer. Next year, again, and every year the same amount. After a while, he's not affected the way he was affected the first time when he wasn't. He's not as appreciative, right? Because he receives it, even though it may be a large amount of money, but he doesn't have that same sense of appreciation feeling as the first time he received it. Why? You get used to it, because you expect it at that time of year. Minimally, that's what you expect. If he doubles it, then now you become more appreciative. Maybe no more than the time you received the 100 for the first time, because that's the nature of a human being. Anything which we expect, there are expectations, you're not taken by it. You're not taken. What you see and what you didn't see. Don't allow your foolishness in the areas that you were exposed to when you were a youth. Remember, there was a story many years ago. I'm not going to mention names because many people know the person. When the Bahya ibn Paquda was trying to came to the United States, he was on the west side, on a brownstone, and there was a certain. He didn't even have a minion. There was a certain person. They would call him in. He would make the minion. The person had no understanding of what the Bahya ibn Paquda was. Every day he'd come in, make the minion, and he would, like palsy-walsy with the Bahya ibn Paquda. No, he made the minion. He talked nonsense with him. So Rabbi would hear what he said, and he would go. About maybe a person passed away just a few years ago. About a few years ago, maybe 10 years ago. You know, here now the Bahya has thousands and thousands of Hasidim. He has a whole, what we call developed a whole dynasty in America, and what developed all over. Person comes to Brooklyn. He thinks they're going to let him in right through the front door. Comes, he says, "I'd like to see the rabbi." They said, "Who are you?" He says, "Well, I'm so and so." You know, he said, "There for what?" He says, "Could I just go in and see him? I want to talk to him." He says, "You got to make an appointment." Make an appointment. I used to walk in whenever I wanted. You know, this man, even when he went to the Rebbe, did he understand who the Rebbe? He has no understanding who the Rebbe is. So 40 years before, 40 years afterwards, the same person. So of course, so when you see something as a child, do you understand what you see? Mm-hmm. Right? You see that. So as an adult, you're seeing the same thing as an adult as you saw it as a child. You're not seeing it in a different light. Right? Because now you're not as discerning to see it differently because you saw it as a child. As I always say, you know, you have people, they study Chumash, but they say something from the Chumash. At the age of 40 or 50, they're explaining what they were taught when they were 5 years old, depth-wise, not to a greater degree. Maybe they're expressing it with a better vocabulary, but in terms of the story, it's the same story as they were 5 years old. Is it any more profound? It's not profound. No? Story. And you're amazed. You can be amazed. Because I interact with people who so-called quasi Shomer Shabbos. They go to shul every Shabbos, listen to Kriyas Torah, went to Orthodox day schools. They know absolutely nothing about what the Torah is saying. Nothing. They don't even have the stories accurate. Nothing. I mean, why does the Torah, I mean, the Ramban says, why with the Bereshis, we have to speak about the Avos? Well, why is it so important to speak about the Avos? You know what you're able to call from the Avos? Their behavior, the midos, everything. You know, his tent was open 24 hours a day, 4 entrances. You know, the guy that paid $100 an hour in Israel, he showed me where the tent of Abraham was, you know. We went in, you know, there's still goats and sheep grazing that area. It's unbelievable. It was like a throwback. going back 4,000 years ago. Unbelievable. Okay, so that's where it begins, that's where it ends. And that's why Yiddishkeit looks the way it looks. Shetazul lisbon livchon ben beis chelkas hakaroscho ubor libcho gos binosche shtagodl. He says, don't allow your foolishness to look upon what you were exposed to as a child, and you should you should deny yourself to reflect and to discern when you're given the intelligence and the ability to discern and to evaluate, and when you come to an age of intelligence as an adult, you should gaze upon them and you should delve into them. Kilo riso some as if you never saw them before. You know, how do you differentiate between a great person and an ordinary person? An ordinary person, initially you meet him, you may be very impressed, but as you get to know him, you become less impressed. A person who's truly a godel b'Torah, special person, the more you know him, the more amazed you become. That's the difference between a person who's truly great and a person who's seemingly great. Right? That's why you have books written about Gedolei Torah, and it's amazing. Every aspect of the life was evaluated. Nothing was by rote. So you're amazed, continuously amazed by them, and the Torah and the behavior and everything, whatever it was. An ordinary person or seemingly a person who's special, you get to know him, he's not so perfect. When you see him in his true light, you see he's not so perfect. He may have a phenomenal mind, but in the totality, you start seeing the cracks and the crevices and many other things you see. He says you should compare yourself to a person who's blind, and now is the first time you see it, as if you're seeing it for the first time. And now you've opened your eyes, and now you see, now you recognize it. You know, it's interesting. It was known, Baruch Ber, when he was 9 years old, 10 years old, he wanted to go to Volozhin. Maybe 12 years old. And Baruch Ber was very small. Physically, he was a small man. Says you can imagine what he was when he was 12 years old. And he already knew Shas by heart by that age, but it was on a very superficial level. Because he was never taught how to, the analytical approach. Reb Chaim was his Rebbe afterwards. He was him and the Brisker Rav were the two primary students of Reb Chaim Brisker. Reb Baruch Ber and the Reb Chaim's son, the Brisker Rav. And Reb Baruch Ber was known, anybody who studied in Kamenetz, anything he taught, he would start, when he would prepare the share, he approached it as if he never saw it before. With all the sources, he'd start from the Chumash to the Gemara, to the Mishnah, to the Gemara, with all the commentators, reevaluating, reanalyzing it as if he never learned it before. Of course, he knew it, but the approach was with the same application. I mean, that's what he's saying. Now, whatever you do to appreciate something, to see what you didn't see before, you have to approach it as if you were never exposed to it before. I mean, it takes tremendous mental effort that not allow yourself to be drawn in to something previously. See, a person doesn't have such a good memory. Okay, he wrote down things he had said earlier, and he doesn't look at what he had said. So now it's like the first time he's approaching it again. We're talking about a person who does remember, right? Because he has that kind of mind, and that he's that dimension to every time to a new approach. Well, that's why, yeah. But he's speaking about what the Chovos was speaking about nature. He's not talking about the Torah. I'm saying even the Torah itself is not so simple. Every day it's like you just received it at Sinai. That's something special. To be continued. It's not breathtaking. 100%. He doesn't. That's why you need 30 days. You need a lapse of 30 days to feel the specialness.